Happy 4th of July. It's a holiday here in the United States, which means extra time for self-care, right? Extra time to realign. You don't have to busy yourself with the normal busy day stuff. You get to focus on yourself a little bit more. And today I wanted to talk about a very important topic about integrity and what happens when you lose your integrity. So I've been consulting now for about over 20 years. And I had this client, and I had been working with her. She was a chief financial officer, and she was, I had been working with her on getting her teams organized, addressing some critical areas that were problematic, and we had developed a beautiful working relationship. And then her boss stepped in to have more of a hands-on approach with the CFO. And he was misguiding her in multiple directions that, you know, for any CFO could be quite dangerous to do. But for this particular person, it was actually, you know, illegal to do some of the things that were being requested of her. And I remember her coming into my office, and we were having a regular consulting session, and she gave me enough information to tell me that she was in trouble. And she was not listening to herself. She was not aligning to her values. She was ignoring the warnings. I gave her a warning. I made this our last coaching session because I saw the direction that this client was going down. And I said, oh, there's fireworks, by the way, going off here, even during the day. It's crazy. It's been going off all sorry, so I got distracted. So I saw the direction she was going, and I was making a decision to not work with her. But in that last conversation, I gave her a piece of advice, which is, don't do anything that compromises your integrity. You will regret it. And because I already knew she was starting to do some things that were sketchy and not aligned with what I knew her to be. So, that was our last conversation, and she went on her way, and she actually ended up doing multiple things that were considered illegal and a violation, and jeopardized not only her reputation, but her entire career. And she ended up having to retire early. She jeopardized her family's well-being. And, what happened to the other person is, I don't really want to go into it because he was already out of integrity. But I wanted to talk to you about this particular CFO because she knew better. She actually knew what she was doing was, she was ignoring the warning signs. And I think that she thought it might not happen to her. And that's ego. That's the ego mind that goes into play against what you know to be true for yourself. And another thing that people do when they lose their way from integrity is they stop thinking of consequences, which goes against the natural laws, because the natural laws state, for every action there's a reaction, for every motion there's a reverberation. So whenever you're doing something, always thinking, thoughts, taking actual actions and moving things, there's always consequences. And when people are out of integrity, they always fail to look at what the consequences could be. And then this is the other thing that people who are out of integrity tend to do, which is, oh, my puppy wants to come outside. They tend to trust other people over themselves. Come on, Ra. Sorry, my dog wanted to come outside. Except that when there's fireworks, she's going to start barking. So prepare. This is a casual discussion. So what I thought was really important about the story about the CFO is, number one, they almost went to jail because they chose to follow their boss's guidance, which went against her legal responsibilities, because she was legally responsible for things that he was not. I mean, he certainly had some things that could happen to him, and they did happen to him, but not as consequential as her, because she had, oh, you want to come up? This is Ra. Everybody say hello, Ra. Okay, well, that didn't go so well. Hold on. I'm going to have some barking wounds on that. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. She really did a number on my leg, too. Hold on. Get inside, now. She's on, inside. Oh, now she's going to the bathroom. Okay, so funny, but not so funny. Sorry about that. Okay, where was I at with the, so she chose to listen to this boss over, over her own, what she knew to be true. And it jeopardized her entire retirement, her well-being of her family, being able to take care of her children. You guys should see my leg. I'm just going to show you my leg. Look at what she just did. She just scratched me all up. So, you know, when you are unsure about integrity and what is in integrity and what's out of integrity, the easiest thing that you could do is know what your values are. Like, what are your guiding values? And I cannot tell you how many people do not know what their values are. I worked with this chief in the military, the Navy. I've consulted with the government for many, many, many years. And when I asked him what he valued, he said honor, courage, and commitment, which is the Navy values. But when I asked him how his behaviors mirror that, they weren't. And so those weren't really what he valued. So it's so important for you to know what your values are. Your values guide your decisions, which guide your behaviors. And if you have your values and they're written down and you know what they are every single day, it will change how you create in your life, number one. Number two, it will change the types of relationships you will have, because you will have more meaningful relationships because you're aligned with your values, and you're going to have relationships that reflect your values. You know, I have a sign up in my office that I only want to work with clients who value me and my services. I don't need just any client. I'm in the position where I get to pick and choose who I want to work with, which is not how I've always been in my career. But let me tell you, when you get to work with the types of people you want to work with, it changes, and it starts to be a sharing relationship instead of the traditional relationships for clients. So you want to know what your values are. You need to know at least your top 5. And I've said this in so many videos, and yet when I get clients, they do not know their values. And there's no judgment for me on people who don't know what they value, because our behaviors always tell us what we're valuing. They are always telling us what we value. And so you cannot create the change that you want to get in your life and in your world if you don't know what your values are. So that's number one. And, you know, since this is the 4th of July in the United States, I will say, you know, a lot of people here say they value freedom, but freedom is always going to occur within yourself before you start to see it in the outer world. So many people feel locked in to their jobs and to their families and to their situations, whatever the situations are, their career. And, you know, that's a lack of personal freedom. And that you have the influence and power to create. You know, you can change your perceptions when you are in alignment. It's super easy when you know what you value. So the crux of what I wanted to say today are give you these 5 things about integrity, and I'm just going to recap here. You know, you got to align to your values. That's primary. It's critical. Number 2, you know, don't ignore the warning signs. That CFO that I was talking to, I told her, I was giving her a warning, but I wasn't the only one warning her. She saw the signals and chose to ignore them. So the other thing is the ego mind. You know, you don't think something bad will happen to you because it's not very likely, but the chances are it could happen to you, and you'll be the one that's going to suffer the consequences of your own misalignment, always. Number 4, think of the consequences. You know, every action has a reaction. So is what you're investing in the right direction? You know, she clearly knew what her choice was incorrect for her and for the organization, and everybody suffered because of it. And then this is the last and yet most important one, is that she trusted somebody else over herself. You know, and this person was misguided. They were telling them the wrong things. They were misinformed. And more importantly, they didn't have as much investment in the situation as she did. Even though it was her boss, he was not as invested as she was. So, you know, don't let other people's opinions and perceptions dictate your own personal behavior. So now I'm going to go read some of these comments here. She did have a brain, but she chose to be influenced by hierarchy, her boss. And, you know, how many of you will make decisions based on your boss's suggestion, even though you know it's not the right thing for you? I mean, it happens all the time. And this one just happened to have a legal ramification to her whole life. And she suffered greatly for it. Okay, I'm seeing if there's any questions here. Hello, Landon. David, hello. Hello, Holland. Happy Independence Day to everybody. Hello, Germany. It's good to see you all here. Poland, wow, hi. Any questions about integrity? I don't want, somebody's asking, what do I think about the presidential race? I think it's a big distraction from going within. So I'm not going to spend time on here talking about politics when your inner alignment is far more important, far more valuable than the political distractions. Oh, somebody said I'm very beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, Nick. Thanks for being here. So integrity is essentially it is at the core of your strength. And without your conscious choice in how you're making decisions in awareness, integrity will be compromised. You can be easily manipulated. And once you have a strong integrity, you can build inner strength much quicker. So, thank you all for joining me here. It's good to see you all from all across the world. It's a beautiful day here, and I hope you have a beautiful day. And I would love to know what your values are. So, if you feel inclined, let me know what your top values are. Maybe that'll help you get more in sync when you have your crystal clear values. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. Have a great day. Bye.